Welcome into the 4-3 Falcons today. And let me start by saying this. It wasn't a pretty win, but how did that sentence end? Win. It was still a win. And that was the theme for week 7. No one really won pretty. There were a lot of ugly wins, teams eking it out at the last moment, but it was Younghoe Koo with a 51-yarder to help Atlanta take over the number 1 spot in the NFC South, give Atlanta their first road win since the Seahawks game last year in September. So I don't really care how the sausage was made. It's still a win. Now, we have all week to focus on improving and getting better. But on Sunday, Atlanta was the better team after 60 minutes down in Tampa. And this is a big win for their push to win the division. Let's talk about the Falcons offense first, and then we'll talk about this defense, which deserves all the credit for this win pretty much. Yet again, Atlanta's defense keeping the offense in the game. And I just worry about that not being very sustainable all season long. But we'll take the win, and we'll run with it, and we'll figure out the rest later. But Atlanta's offense against the Bucs, 401 total yards, 19 for 25 by Desmond Ridder, 245 passing yards, 38 carries, only one of those carries being Bijan Robinson. We'll talk more about that later on for 156 yards. But the 3 turnovers. Desmond Ridder turning it over 3 times, 3 fumbles, all bad fumbles, one being at the goal line, right? A bit of a big swing right there, took a touchdown off the board for Atlanta. Another one being an opportunity for the Falcons to try and cement their lead in the fourth quarter. Instead, it gave some life to Tampa Bay. 3 fumbles by Desmond Ridder. And the Bucs offense, by the way, against Atlanta, 329 total yards, 256 passing yards from Baker Mayfield, 2 turnovers themselves, 1 interception and 1 fumble. But we'll throw up the side-by-side stats here so you guys compare it head-to-head. But I want to borrow your ear for a moment and talk about Desmond Ridder. Because we were all in agreement going into the season that, listen, when it comes to Desmond Ridder, he just can't lose you games. Well, he didn't lose in this game, but man, they're getting close to that territory. The turnovers with Dr. 9 are unsustainable, right? We cannot continue this way of 3 fumbles in winning games. It got by with the Bucs. It's not going to get by every Sunday. So I've got more to say on Desmond Ridder, and I'll really let it loose in just a second. But today's show is being supported by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports app where all you have to do is pick more or less for 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Prize Picks is super simple and user-friendly. If you want to put some down for Monday Night Football, Vikings 49ers, Kirk Cousins, 238.5 yards, you can go more or less when you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. The link for that is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Let's talk about Desmond Ridder because on one hand, very efficient, like just from the passing perspective, 19 for 25, accurate with the ball, moved it down the field, 250 yards. Sure, no touchdowns, but those will come. And he ran for a touchdown. But the 3 fumbles. I go back to, are you winning in spite of Desmond Ridder, or are you winning because of Desmond Ridder? Everyone contributes to a win. Very rarely does one player actually single-handedly win a game. But how much longer are they going to be able to tread water this way? Oh, yeah, Desmond Ridder fumbled it 3 times. We won today. I don't think that's going to work every Sunday. So Desmond Ridder either needs to pick it up because they're not winning because of Desmond Ridder out there, right? So if you can find a quarterback that doesn't spot the other team 3 fumbles, like maybe Taylor Heineke, a 16-13 win against Tampa Bay does not have to come down to a Younghoe Koo 51-yard field goal. I know it sounds really asinine to talk about making a QB change after a win, but to me, I'm getting vibes of like Nick Saban at Bama of like, we could be doing a lot better at the quarterback position. And going into the season, we all prescribed, hey, Desmond Ridder's going to be a professional handoffer. He's going to give it to Bijan. They're going to run the ball well. Just don't turn it over. Let your defense play well. A big investment was made on that side of the ball in free agency. And you should be able to win 8 to 10 games. they might get to 8 to 10 wins, but they are going to be very upset with their quarterback after what he has put them through to win some of these games and how he has cost them some of these games. So Desmond Ridder officially on bench watch, putting it out there. 3 fumbles, you're on bench watch. No doubt about it. Tyler Algier took the majority of the carries. Bijan was not feeling well. Went through warm-ups and just ultimately couldn't really give it a go. The only thing that was strange was Algier, 21 carries for 59 yards. Why did Bijan not play the whole game, but then play the last series for Atlanta? That doesn't really add up. If he can't play, then why is he out there for the most important series of the game? That was a little bit strange. But credit to Desmond Ridder. Say something nice about Desmond. He did get them into field goal range for Younghoe Koo. Cordero Patterson got the most amount of carries we have seen so far this year. 10 carries for 56 yards. Had a nice 18-yard scamper to pick up a nice first down for Atlanta. So Patterson and Algier took over with Bijan sick or whatever was going on with number 7. But ultimately, they were able to ground out enough on the floor to pick up a win. Drake London nearly had a big reception. God, that would have been sick. 6 grabs, 54 yards. You know the one I'm talking about. Went down or almost down at the 1-yard line / at the goal line, but incomplete altogether. Kyle Pitts, by the way, is still working his way up there. Algier had 3 receptions for 53 yards, but Kyle Pitts, I want to talk about him for a second here because I don't think we're really getting 100% from Kyle Pitts. And I don't know if that's a reflection of the knee injury, but he made some nice plays for Desmond Ridder. He helped out his quarterback at times, but he still looks like he's not at 100%. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that. But to me, in my eyes, it doesn't look like he's running at 100%. But I want to kind of put a bow on the Desmond Ridder subject before we talk about this defense. Can Desmond Ridder win a playoff game? I know it's not even Halloween, and I'm getting way ahead of myself. And if the answer is no, I don't think that's a sign of pack it up and bench him, right? There's a lot of quarterbacks that can't win playoff games. They don't look like they're going to in October and turn things on. And you might not have another guy on the bench who can win a playoff game. But I do want your honest opinion. Because the answer is no. You might not have anything to do about it this year. But we can have a different conversation about 2024. All right, Baker and the Bucs. A lot of penalties. D. Alford had a rough day when it comes to the penalty yardage. He gave up some first downs and whatnot. But ultimately, Ryan Nielsen's defense continues to shine. It's flying under the radar. It's not getting a lot of buzz. It's not a Browns, 49ers, one of these Cowboys top defenses, but it's good. It might not be top 5, but with what he's working with, you get some real talent on that team. They've got talent, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sell them short, but you get some superstar talent on that defensive line. Man, you got to think they could really get after the quarterback. White, by the way, for the Bucs, got nothing going. 13 carries for 34 yards. Grady Jarrett and the rest of that interior defensive line continue to grind out very tough Sundays for running backs. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. I'm not too upset about this. If I told you before the game, 6 grabs, 82 yards, and 1 touchdown, you probably take that, right? You probably go, I'll accept that. We've seen worse from Mike Evans against Atlanta. But to wrap it up and run through some more stats here, Kyle Pitts, 3 grabs for 47 yards. Him and Drake London going over 100 yards receiving. So it's good to see those two playing well at the same time. Hopefully they can build off of that, and hopefully Pitts can get healthier and healthier as the season moves along. And then, like I said, you've got Evans, you've got Godwin. Even White was lethal out of the backfield. He averaged over 10 yards a reception. So for Atlanta's defense to hold the Bucs to 13 points against one of the better offenses the first third of the season, that's a win in my book. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's show. Thanks so much for tuning into our post-game show here. Sorry for getting out a little bit late, a chaotic Sunday here at Chat Sports. But we're going to sign off, and we're going to see everyone later. But make sure to subscribe to the channel. I don't want you to miss a single Falcons video all week long leading up to their next game.